Okay, couple of quick bits before this video begins, and that is, one, this took a hell of a lot of work to get done, guys. A lot of editing. It's broken over a couple of days. You may hear some little weird bits in the edit, the continuity. That is literally just me editing it through a couple of days. As I say, hell of a lot of work. So if I can be super cringe and just say, please, if you listen to the whole video, you like what you hear, subscribe, do the bell, do whatever the hell it is, loops that YouTube want you to run through, that would be amazing. Secondly, I'm trying to play devil's advocate with the information we have at hand. Fair play and a salute to Method and the SCO, that they are the only ones that released any information upon what's happened. I understand Redbull are a corporation and therefore don't really care what we think, but in me trying to present both sides of the argument, the one side is coming from SCO, the other side's coming from me, which unfortunately puts me in the position of Redbull. Now please sit back, have your pipe, slippers, cup of cocoa, because this is a long one. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, we have a doozy, and I mean a flat out doozy today. Now, this has been going on for a little while. I've kind of wanted to wait to the very last minute to try and get as much news as possible in. And I will say this, straight off the bat, this is subjective. This is my personal views. We're going to read all the statements and things like that, but this is how I feel about this going forward and everything else. This is not news. This is not the quartering or any other news outlet you may watch on YouTube. I'm literally just going to say my subjective feelings on this as a fan and as a player and everything else, okay? Now, the Redbull world first race. Yeah, we're going to talk about how Method have split from Redbull, and we'll be going to Take TV for their world first race coverage, and Redbull will be doing their own thing. Now, not a lot has come out from Redbull. They basically said we're doing it. We've got Limit, we've got Pieces will be joining us, and various other guilds from around the world. Fantastic. And that's their statement on it. They're going to do their thing. SCO, who, if you don't know, have you living under a rock in the WoW world? SCO is basically the GM of Method Guild and also a director of Method Gaming, which is the organisation that's the business side of it. And I do want to separate those two because that's going to become very important later on. Okay? But here we go. Let's get into this. We're going to read. It's on Twitlonger. So this is from SCO, and I assume it's from him and the whole Method organisation, obviously. But here we go. Let's read this. Why Method is no longer working with Red. Method decided to stream the world first race for the first time in Old Deer, and it was amazing. That's my little interjection there. We reached out to Redbull and brought them on to sponsor the event and provide a venue. The Old Deer World First Race event was a huge success. Over 6 million unique devices tuned in, and overall 10 million viewer hours were accumulated. In comparison, this is more than twice the viewing hours of the Overwatch League playoffs in 2018. Yeah, when you're talking about success, don't compare yourself to a corpse. Overwatch, I know there's still some of you out there that love it, Jesus, but the heyday of that is long gone. Like, long gone. It was starting to wane and disappear long before Soldier became gay, and probably it was starting to wane just as they started the Overwatch League. But yeah, let's just carry on. Let's carry on. There's a lot of this to get through, and I'm going to get sidetracked through this, but here we go. Redbull saw the magnitude of the world first race and decided that they wanted to own and operate the event themselves. Here we go. You cannot own a community event for a start, okay? They can, like I can, start a tournament. Let's say I start the Grim Invitational for Mythic Plus. If no team signs up, nobody's interested in watching, it doesn't matter that I own that event. It's dead. Okay? They will not own the world first race. And this goes all the way through this, okay? With this, them wanting to own the event. Because it sounds like a huge soulless corporation owning a little piece of our world. Because the world first race has been going on for ages, and it sounds like evil, dun dun dun, corporation is going to own it. They're not. Okay, unless teams sign very long-term contracts or anything else, they can call it the Redbull Race to World First Super Duper Edition. It doesn't mean shit if nobody's interested in signing on. Obviously, Limit and Pieces and various other guilds were interested in signing on. But if it turned out that they were horrendous to work for, they just abused everybody and took all the money for themselves, then the next time around, nobody has to work with them. and then the Red Bull World First stream is dead on arrival. So let's not overplay this. They will own the World First race. They will operate the event themselves after. Oh dear. They started pushing us to have the next World First race, or the race for World First, apologies, streamed on Red Bull's Twitch channel. We of course rejected that for many reasons, including, most importantly, we see the long-term damage of handing off the 14-year community-run Race for World First competition to a third-party corporation. Only the community and or Blizzard themselves should have ownership over the world or the Race for World First. Why? If the goal is to make this a big, huge event, yes, the guilds, yes, Blizzard should have a hand in this. Blizzard, above everybody else, should have final say. If it begins to make their game look in a poor light, they should have a vetoing of like, okay, you can all just stop now. This is done. So Blizzard, they are the gods. If they turn and say no, it should just end. The community, the guilds, should have, from their own point of view, or not the community, I mean, we're viewers, okay, so take the community out of it, but the guilds themselves and the players in that, yes, they should have the power to veto things if it is going to affect them, okay? If it is going to, I don't know, let's say they were getting a percentage of revenue from the stream, and all of a sudden, so let's say they got X amount, and then it's like, oh, okay, yeah, we're actually going to lower everybody's percentage in the next one. No, they should be able to turn around and say, actually, no, this breaches our contracts, blah, 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 blah. You know, our team contracts, however you want to look at it, this breaches that, and actually, this is a huge problem, and we're not accepting that. Straight will say, only the community and Blizzard themselves should have ownership over the Race for World First. No. That's ridiculous. If we're saying that it's going to be a competition, that it is going to be something recognised as an esport, then it's a collaborative thing. The people that are hosting it, potentially the people that are putting the money forward, should have some say, because potentially we don't want players swearing during the competition, because that's going to reflect badly on the sponsors. It would be like any sporting event. Everybody that is involved in this will have a say in various aspects. Okay? So to play this, the community should have we should have ownership. Nobody has ownership on this. Okay? This is a fluid thing. Nobody has ownership. It's not like Blizzard is the only person that has ownership on this. Blizzard turned around and said, stop this now. We're going to make, I don't know, the World First race against TOS. That's it. Blizzard are the only people who have ownership or have power in this situation. Everything else is made up of whoever wants to be part of it. Okay? 10 different groups could start and have their own little World First races. That's a community thing. It doesn't matter. There is no ownership. This thing of ownership of this is ridiculous. Okay? We can love it. We can cherish it. We can say this is special to us. Okay? But we cannot say that we have ownership of it. It's like Star Wars. We can love it. We can say we're 100% behind this. It's amazing. It's so special to us that it has transcended what it originally was, which is, at the end of the day, a game from a corporation out to make profit. But it transcends that, and we love it. And we do cosplays and everything else because we love it. But then when the law or whatever else decided to be changed, we have no power in that. Okay? The community have no power in that. Blizzard and the other corporations are the ones that have the power. Blizzard especially, because they have ownership of the IP. Anyway, apologies. We have a lot to cover, and I'm already ranting. Whew. Okay, point 2. Method itself had no partnership or received any direct compensation from Red Bull. The Race for World First live stream channel was the only way to interact with viewers and to bring on sponsorship. If we handed off the live stream to Red Bull, then we wouldn't be able to compensate the players that compete in the world. Easy for me to say. World First race, or the Race for World First, however you want to say it. Again, this is something to be agreed, but also we are at the tentative stages. This is a big thing to remember. We're at the beginning of transferring what was something community-driven, not owned, community-driven, into something that potentially you want to be an actual recognised esport. And in which case, that is going to need the money of soulless corporations. We can all watch these streams and we can put money towards our favourite streamers and everybody else. But if you want it to be a competition, which is fair for everyone participating, and that's important. Not just Method, not just your big favourite guild, but every guild that legitimately wants to participate. Then there needs to be a prize fund to go towards them. Because at the moment, the rich just get richer. Okay, the guilds that are popular, the guilds that, and I mean Method with air quotes, like the big streaming guild is Method. Okay, they are the ones that make bank on this. And I can't see them turning around and going, there you go, there's all of our stream, or, you know, every donation we received goes to you because you won the world first race, and we want to promote that because we want to promote competition. Unlikely. I can't see that happening. Because as Method say, quite fairly, and I accept this, they want to compensate their own players. But that opens up a whole other can of worms in the fact that Method, potentially, with this, are opening up their players, and very few other guilds can offer this, to being paid. Yes, part-time paid. They are almost contract paid, just in the window of doing the world first race. But that's huge, because if a guy can turn around, let's say he's your raid leader, he's one of your best players, and goes, guys, I can't get any more time off work, I'm fucked. Okay, but you can turn around and go, well, actually, take another week off work, take it unpaid, because we're going to pay you 10 grand. I'm making numbers up here. This is not anything that I believe Method have given their players. This is just me making up numbers. We can give you X amount of money, okay, that makes it easier. X amount of money that covers that week off work that you're going to take unpaid, and all of a sudden we've got that guy back in. How many other guilds can offer that? So already the world first race that is a community thing is no longer equal. It's no longer fair that anybody can turn up. Any guild can say, we're throwing our name in the hat. Let's go. Let's do this. Breathe and continue. Apologies. Okay. The above was a key discussion point for months as we tried to find a solution. Open brackets. In hindsight, we should have gone our separate ways at this point. Close bracket. However, we were constantly given apologies, given hope that a solution was coming, and at the same time, we did hold the Redbull brand in high esteem. That's a snide shot, you didn't need to do that. We did hold the Redbull brand in high esteem, meaning we don't anymore, you're all snide. Don't do that. It makes you look bad, it doesn't make them look bad. They're a corporation, alright? Just don't do that. There's no need for that. Okay, here we go. And we wanted to find a fair compromise. Finally, 2 weeks before the release of Battle for Desire Lore, Raid Dungeon, Redbull agreed to have the live stream remain on Method's Twitch channel. Now that in itself shows that Method had some sway in this. Now, whether that's because... See, you got to think, if Redbull are saying we want it on our Twitch channel, do it. They're fully set up, okay? They have the studio, they had everything else. Method at this point had everything to lose. Because if they had been pulled, they would have been all back streaming this from their bedrooms or their studies or whatever. Wouldn't have been the professional look that they were after. It was way too close. You know, literally the day before this came out, Redbull could have turned around and said, no, actually, we can't. There's been a power outage. You can't have the studio. Whoops-a-daisy. You know, sorry. Accidents happen. But they didn't. So it shows that in this negotiation, Method had some sway because they are able to get Redbull to back down. Now that shows that there's room there for negotiation. If Redbull, this solo corporation, wanted Method to do something, apparently they now own the competition, they would have had the power to do that. Well, they didn't. Method said, no, we've got some cojones, we got some power, no, we want it on our channel. Furthermore, Redbull indicated that a long-term partnership could happen after the completion of Battle for Desire Lore race for World First. Unfortunately, the 2-week turnaround meant that we couldn't take action on unlocking the event's full potential, such as Method's plan to include other guilds and to generally develop the event into something even bigger. Okay. Despite this, the event was another huge success, even surpassing the viewership of Oh Dear. Okay, now this is going to lead into the next paragraph, but you've just done the world first race for Oh Dear. Success. You've just done the even more successful Battle for Desire Lore. You are on top of the world. You are in the key negotiating position. Plus, you have a vision. You have a mindset going forward of what you want. You want to make this an esport. You want to bring all these guilds in. You want to make something truly special. Recognized like it should be. Because these guys work fucking hard. Let's be honest about this. Mythic Raiders are the 1% of the 1%. These guys work their nuts off on something they don't really get rewarded or financially recognised as, you know, they don't get a trophy or anything. It's simply our respect and admiration as a community towards them. That's it. Bragging rights amongst them. The best of the best players. Okay? But you, as a method, had the opportunity to go out, to reach out to your other guilds and say, look, we've run 2 successful events. Become part of this. Join us. We are going to open up access to our network. We're partnered. We're friends with Redbull. Okay? We have their studios. We have all these resources, and we want you guys to share. You know the scene in The Godfather where all the heads of the families are sat around the table and say, you have all the judges in your pocket. We want to taste. And you're like, when have I ever denied you a favour? And that is what we could have had. All the guilds sat around. Okay, we want you guys involved in this. Do you want to be part of this? And they would have gone, hell yeah. They would have seen the money. Let's be honest. And It's a Gundam is famous for saying this. If it doesn't make money in our world, it dies. Simple as that. The reason the World First race could potentially be such a huge success is there is money there. The Twitch views have shown that there is money in this. That's why the corporations want to get involved. But that's also why people are getting so excited. It's why all these guilds are starting to come back up to the fore. It's why they're starting to sniff and get interested, because Twitch streaming has shown that there is money in this. Alright? I'm not slating anybody for that. Fair play. Everybody's got to get paid. Whew, apologies. Okay, let's continue on this. Else we're going to be here all day. It's going to be a long one anyway. It is what it is. Okay. Nothing materialised after BOD. Instead, Red Bull continued to pursue the route of trying to take ownership of the World First event. They did not. This is all they can take ownership for is the Red Bull World First race. That's it. Anyway, it was very disappointing for us at Method, and I think anyone who tuned in the last 2 World First events at this point can appreciate how much value Red Bull has gained from their involvement. Yes, but also Method have gained in legitimising this, in making it look like a true esport. Any sponsor gets exposure, but you also get something from that sponsorship. Even if it was just the Red Bull Arena, it made you guys look crisp but professional. To not look like we're geeks in basements, the hoods up, you know, with dual monitors, and one of them's got Pornhub on. We look serious. It looks like a true event, like something that could, like it, so you can legitimately say we're more popular than the Overwatch League. Given everything that goes into Overwatch League, we look crisper, we look more professional, we had more views. You look legitimate. So don't pretend this is a one-way street where you graciously handed Red Bull everything and then they snapped back. Anyway, I have no doubt Red Bull got huge exposure and huge marketing and everything else. I accept that. They're a business, that's why they do it. They saw the potential, boom, fair play to them. But don't pretend it was a one-way street. If you're going to come across as sincere, be honest. As the Esports Observer put it, the stream featured a constant presence from Red Bull, giving the brand access to millions of hours of viewership. While dialogue remained open, it was leaked to us that Red Bull reached out to Limit and Pieces to plan an event called Red Bull's World First. Why wasn't Method doing this as well? If your dream all the way along has been to create a huge event with all of these guilds competing on an even footing, to really take us to the next level, to bring in potentially prize money at the end of it, and all these sorts of things, why were you shocked that they did this? Okay, here's the thing. If my fence breaks, very simple analogy, I apologise, but if my fence breaks and I ring a builder up and I'm like, dude, you did some work for me before on the other fence and I'd really like a quote to see how this is going. And he's like, well, quote's going to be about £1,000, I think, but I need to come out and have a proper look. I'm like, okay then, cool. When should we book an appointment? Well, next Thursday. I can't really do, okay, like a month on Tuesday? It's a bit long, but okay, we can do a month. Alright, look, I'll give you a call back, alright, mate? I've got a lot of work on, I'll give you a call back at some point. You're like, okay, thanks. Yeah, I'll call you back later today. You're like, okay, cool. And if you don't hear from that guy for like week and there's no communication, of course you're gonna reach out to others. And that's what Red Bull did. I am not gonna everybody's gonna turn around and say, you're hating on Method, you're a lover of Red Bull. I'm not. But Red Bull did what you wanted to do. What I'm saying is, after Battle for Desire Law, why did Method not reach out? They have friends in all of these guilds. Why did they not reach out to every guild and turn around and say, guys, we want to do something special now. We want to bring everybody together and we want to do something special next. It would have made Method's negotiating power so much more, so much bigger to go back. They could have then gone back to Red Bull and said, all right, look, I know you want to do this just on your channel, but by the way, we've got like, I don't know, 10 of the top guilds behind us now ready to do this. Okay? So you can come and meet representatives from all of us and then you tell us what you've got for us. Then we'll make something special happen. Okay? Red Bull aren't going to turn that down. That would have changed the dynamic completely. What happened is Red Bull got there first. Because Method sat there, and I hate to fucking say this, Method sat there saying, fuck you, pay me. How much money are you going to give us to compensate us for not doing this on our own channel? If that's what you really want. You don't want us to stream it on our individual channels. You don't want to stream this on the Method channel. You want us to do this on the Red Bull channel, so you should pay us for it. We are missing out. This is not me slating them off, but this is the truth of it. Again, this is my opinion. It's all subjective. It's not objective. I have no proof of this. This is what I believe reading this. Okay, this is my interpretation. And Red Bull were like, we're going to look at alternative revenue. We're going to look at alternative streams, at alternative groups to go to. And that's what they did. And they blindsided Method. I think that's sad, but that's the truth of it. And there's an image here which is just like Red Bull World First crap. I'm not going to put it up. Anyway, once again, let's try and get back on track. Red Bull had gone behind our back, and after seeing their presentation to Limit and Pieces, it was apparent they had taken a lot of our ideas and concepts for expanding the World First race. Red Bull will therefore likely be putting on their own event for 8.2. The Eternal Palace with Limit and Pieces this time around, but Method will not have any involvement with the event. And here's the question. This is what contradicts everything above. That shows that Red Bull don't own shit. They don't own the World First event because you're going to do it anyway. You're going to do your own thing. What Red Bull own is the Red Bull World First race. That's it. That's all they own. That's all they have ownership of. You can choose not to be involved in that. And if, as I said before, Red Bull are really shitty and treat everybody like crap, nobody else needs to join them. They can just go, peace out, we're done. You're actually horrible to work for. I'm not saying Red Bull are, I'm just saying in a hypothetical. Red Bull, sorry, we're off. We're not involved. And then Red Bull have nothing. Simply, the Red Bull World First died. Not the race for World First. Okay? So, that's a ridiculous idea to say all the way through, the Soulless Corporation's taking over. No, they're not. They're really not. You can still just have your own event. Okay, so Method will host the Race for World First event in a new location. I believe that's Take TV. And we are very excited to share all the details with you about this in an upcoming announcement. Whew! The future of the Race for World First, in their eyes. I will say this is Method's future for the World First race. The Race for World First has existed for 14 years as a community-run initiative without the direct involvement of Blizzard or third-party corporations. We reject the prospect of a third-party corporation taking this competition away from the community now that the Race for World First live streams have shown that there is a huge public interest and commercial viability. I hate to break it to you, as soon as there is commercial viability, corporations will be involved. Also, let's not forget, Method, yes, is a guild, and I stated this before, Method is also a business brand. They are basically an esports team, or ownership team. They have loads of groups in loads of competitions, and that's public knowledge. Everybody knows that, but they are a business. They are making money off of this. Okay, let's not kid ourselves. They have something that very few other guilds have, which is a direct business backing them. Okay, let's go forward. Let's go on. The Race to World First is uniquely positioned in that it requires limited external involvement. Competition can be considered similar to the concept of games done quickly. It is a race through PvE content, effectively PvE esport. If we consider how differently a standard esports tournament is run, PvP esports, for example, a Counter-Strike Go tournament, it requires the tournament organizer to create and enforce a rule set, create brackets, administer and referee each match, and so on. The Race to World First is unique in that it requires none of that. No, it's unique in the fact that we have never done any of that. It's a very different thing. You have never ever put a rule set in place. That's fine. There are unwritten rules that we can talk about. There are things like what actually counts. Is it the first to kill it? Is it the quickest? So if the Americans killed it before the European, then is it going to go down to time? Or is it simply who killed it fast? There are things like that, these unwritten rules that we have, that we kind of, that is the grey area, because it all depends generally on whether your favourite, if Limit killed it, the Americans go, no, it's who killed it first, because you saw the Americans kill it and how they did it, and therefore you heard whispers of how it happened, and so you only killed it because we've done it already, blah, 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 blah. There are all these, if you're going to make this a professional esports, if you want sponsorship, you want money, then rules will have to be engaged. There has to be a change. It's as simple as that. There has to be a rule set brought in. There has to be boundaries and things like that. Allowing a third-party corporation to take ownership of the race to world first is conflicting with the interests of the guilds who compete in the race. Why? I'm intrigued. Tell me more. The goal of the third-party corporation is to promote their own brand as much as possible. Less incentive to bring on other sponsors as it dilutes their brand exposure. That's not how that works. If Microsoft hold an event, the reason generally that Microsoft don't need to bring in third-party sponsors, like they generally do, is because they have fucking bank. They have money to be able to hold an event and not need other sponsors. The only reason that, say, Red Bull would not bring another brand in to sponsor would be if that was a direct competitor. It is unlikely they would go, Red Bull Gaming in association with Monster Energy Drinks bring you. No. But I can quite easily see Red Bull in association with T-Mobile, in association with Microsoft, bring you blah. And the reason they'll generally bring in more sponsors is because as events get bigger, as the stages get bigger and you make the events more grandiose, they cost more money. So you want those sponsors to come in. Generally, they only get to that stage is if they're extremely popular. So it's fine. That's good. That's good for everyone. So saying that there is no way they are going to promote the brand as much as possible, that there's no way they're going to allow any other sponsors to come in, is naive. It's just not going to happen. Run the event at the lowest possible cost. Or the lowest cost possible, sorry. Again, they're going to run it for profit. They are not just going to have a dude in his bedroom. Think of how much cheaper, Jesus, sometimes I wish they would just stop, E3 would look if they just stopped with half the crap. You don't need laser lights, so you don't need these big fucking flashy trailers. Just have a dude on stage reading from cards. No, you need the pageantry. You need everything around it because it gets the hype going. Okay, the only reason you would not invest money is if it was not successful. That is the only reason. If if Heroes of the Storm, my bad, was making Blizzard bricks of cash, tons of it, do you think they would have shut down the Heroes of the Storm esports? Nope. That thing would have been flying. They would have had huge stages with thousands of people involved. It would have been humongous. The fact is, it didn't make money. If it makes money, they will invest that money. Yes, they want to make money from it. But this is about, generally for Red Bull, brand exposure. So they want flashy stage. If it looks cheap, you associate that with the cheap product they are selling. So you're not going to do that. Yeah, they're going to want to make profit, but that's good. Profit is not a bad thing. It means that the thing succeeds and it continues, while also owning the run of the show and all aspects: branding, marketing, event, sales. Yes, that is fine, again, if they are providing prize money and things like that. It's their event. You don't have to sign up. FIFA don't own kids playing football in the park. The game is still theirs to play. Okay, they're just the organising committee behind a lot of the professional aspects of football. That's fine. Well, FIFA isn't fine. They're corrupt as fuck. But anyway, subjective. Yes, when events get bigger and they get more important, you need the oversight of all involved, as I said before. Anyway, I'm losing my throat. Jesus, I need to drink. Hang on 2 seconds. I need to go get a drink. There we go. Okay, where were we? So I'm going to show several limits the guild's oversight and return from the event. Why? This only affects truly Method, because Method are getting bank. They are getting huge chunks of cash at the moment from live streaming. The only guild that gets that really is Method. They get massive amounts of money through streaming the world first. So it only affects you guys. Every other guild that's handed to is like, yeah, cool, this gives us the opportunity. And in the future, potentially, let's say there's a £2 million, $2 million, however you want to word it, prize fund for this. Let's say it goes huge and there's 2 million there. Is any guild going to have a problem going? I don't think so. I don't think that's an issue at all. But anyway, we digress. We'll talk about this more later. But as I say, this is already going to be a hugely long video, and I apologise. This is probably the longest video I've ever done. But this is interesting, and there's a lot of ramifications that come from this. The guilds become powerless and restricted in terms of the event itself, the exposure they get, the revenue generated from the event, and other elements. All of this has a direct impact on how long-term raiding scene develops from here on out. Not fucking true. Again, this only truly affects Method. The guilds become powerless and restricted in terms of events itself. No, because no other guild has this level of an event. Nobody. Limit don't, Pieces don't. There's no guild that has... What this will do is actually elevate those guilds. They'll be able to be part of something more than themselves. And Method had the opportunity to sacrifice a piece of the pie, a very huge chunk of the pie that Method have. They had the chance to turn around and say, alright, we're going to lead this and we're going to put some money back in the pot for everybody. And we're going to bring all guilds up to that level so that everybody has a chance to have a little slice of this pie. Because we all work equally hard in the race for world first. And everybody deserves that opportunity. Everybody deserves that shot. Also, going back, the bit about the guilds becoming powerless. Why? As long as you don't have a very long-term contract, you have an event to an event, you don't need to go. If the MDI suddenly treated teams very, very badly, Method's teams could just step out of, or any team, not just Method's, any team could just step out of it and go, actually, no, you treat us horrendously bad, we're not interested in being this. It's not a problem. It's not an issue. The guilds aren't powerless. It's how you come to the table. The issue here, from what I can read so far, is that Method, the organisation, would become powerless. Method, the guild, are just the same as every other guild in this equation. And that's why I said at the very beginning, and the further we go through this, you will see a huge distinction between the two. So far, this is not a bad deal for Method, the guild. Okay? It's not a bad deal at all. They get to compete with other guilds, bringing the whole event to a more professional standard, to the ranks of esport. Yeah, would we like it to be in-house, as a community thing? Yes, that would be fantastic. But realistically, if you want it to become an esport, there has to start being a level of corporate involvement because they bring the checkbook. It's just the reality of the world we live in nowadays. We have to accept that. Okay, we have to accept it. But Method the Guild would be exactly the same standing as every other guild. And as they state later on, I'm not going to jump ahead, if all the guilds were open and said, okay, this is the deal, we kind of want blanket deals for everybody, nobody is more important than any other, we're all in here for Race of the World First to make this a good event. And they had the collective power of all those guilds. Without them, there is no event. So the guilds aren't powerless. As I stated before, Redbull could have turned around and said, fuck you, we're not letting you live stream at our facility right at the last minute, and screwed Method over. Method, it turned out, actually managed to get it so that it wasn't streamed on the Redbull channels, it was streamed on the Method channel instead for Battle for Desire Law. Fantastic success. So it showed they had a level of power in it. So the guilds aren't powerless. A notorious problem has been the sustainability of being a top raider. The majority of guilds that have achieved world first are either disbanded or have stopped competing, including guilds such as Death and Taxes, Nyla, Cydia, Blood Legion, and of course the Mighty Paragon. Seeking to achieve a world first requires an immense amount of dedication, but yields no tangible reward if you are successful. We live in a time of top esports competitions, rewarding millions in prize money and 6 to 7 figure annual pro player salaries. Most top raiders on the other end have to take vacation from their full-time jobs to compete in the World First Race. Yes, but you have already stated that this is a community thing that we do. And everybody that goes into doing this World First knows that there's no money. It's for a love of the game and it's for that competitive drive. It's their drug of choice. Without it, WoW is just a boring game of pet battles and dailies. What they live for is that moment when you are chasing world first, when you're at progression. Now, we've all had it. Anyway, it's raided. That progression buzz is fantastic. When you kill a boss, it's amazing. Imagine those heights when you are literally at the cutting edge. You are the first to do any of this content. And it was always the prestige and the reputation that you would gain from this. In the standing in the community. The fact we go like, talking whispered tones about Method and those other guilds I mentioned like Paragon and Nyla, like they were talked in whispered tones about how they got these things done and followed with a geek cloud of mystery and awe. But that was always all there ever was. There was never huge money in it. Okay, now if you're turning around and saying there has to be 6 to 7 figure salaries for raiders now and millions in prize money, then you have to hand it over to a corporation. It has to happen. There's no getting away from that. Method, the business, and again, we'll get onto this later, cannot sustain this. You cannot be the ones to pay everybody. You can't do it. The community cannot do it. It's as simple as that. We can't. You have to have big business with big sponsorship. That's the only way this can transcend and go to the next level. Step outside of a little community niche thing into being something recognized as an esport, suddenly being shown in bars and things like that. That's the only way this happens. Only thing. Oh, we need another sip of drink. Okay, here we go. We're almost there. The past 2 Racer World First events have achieved numbers similar to Counter-Strike Go major tournaments or multiple weekends of the LCS. These events are massive and their value should be realised by the guilds involved. Method is in the early stages of communicating with other top guilds on a collective agreement that will have the Racer World First remain in the hands of the community, an agreement that will prevent exploitation of guilds, an agreement in broad strokes. The agreement in broad strokes. Now I'm going to do all of this and then do my summary of this at the end. So here we go. The guilds elect a commissioner to act on their behalf. The commissioner will assume the role of executive director for Racer World First events. The commissioner and the guilds choose a production company and venues, which will be engaged on a contractor basis. The commissioner, on behalf of the guilds, will oversee the creation and execution of the Race to World First broadcast to ensure the event reflects the competitive nature of the race and the passion of the raiding guilds. Sponsorship for the Racer World First events will be brought in by the guilds and external agents. All revenue will be distributed in a fair manner, which will be agreed upon between the guilds. Blizzard, as creator and IP owner of World of Warcraft, will hope to continue to provide support to what has always made World of Warcraft special, its community. We would be keen to work directly with Blizzard with the above aforementioned points in mind. And then this is what this agreement issues. 1. The Race World First will be the best it can be because it's in the hands of the guilds and their raiders who have passion and dedication in this competition. 2. The guilds and raiders will not be taken advantage of by external for-profit companies which have no interest in the Racer World First other than its commercial exploitation. 3. The long-term sustainability of the raiding scene is secured. So let's try and break this down a little bit at a time. The guilds elect a commissioner to act on their behalf. What you're basically saying, somehow there's going to be an invite of maybe, let's say what, as it stands at the moment on Radar Road, the top 10 guilds in the world, top 20. Who knows? Let's say top 10. Top 10 guilds in the world. And they're all allowed a slice of the pie. And then on the flip side, the commissioner of this and the organisation, they're going to find a production company that's going to work for them to put this show on. Okay, that's fine. That's standard. We can put that to the side. But here's the interesting bit. Sponsorship for the World Pro Race events will be brought in by the guilds and external agents. All revenue will be distributed in a fair manner, which we agreed upon between the guilds. Now, what you're starting to breed here is a cabal, which for those that don't know is a small group of people who secretly work together to get more power for themselves. How do other guilds join this group? How do you gain access to this group that is now going to become very fucking powerful with a lot of money because they now control? You're talking about ownership of the World First Race. This is ownership of the World First Race. And not in the hands of let's keep it in the community, let's keep it free and easy and just the way it is now. Everybody Twitch streams and we can have one Twitch channel that is, if any of you that remember the Racer World First Call of Duty, like that. It's literally just it just pops up whenever the World First Race is happening. That's the only channel everybody streams on. We could keep it like that. And there would be a lot of interest, people would watch it and then money donated and you equally divided amongst the guilds that are involved. But no, what we're talking about here is bringing in sponsorship. Now, if each guild brings in sponsorship, does that guild only keep their sponsorship? Or, because let's be honest, at the moment, Method hold all the cards. They hold all the power. And this is a huge problem because realistically, can Method participate in this going forward as a guild? Or do they want to be the organisation that creates and runs this? Because you can't be both. I'm sorry this is such a huge video. I'm sorry for the rants in between. But I see something that SCO and the Method boys have truly made special. And you can see it being destroyed and trampled on. And let's be honest, there's not a lot of good that has come from BFA There's not a lot that has pleased the community. This is something special. This is something amazing. And it didn't come from Blizzard. It's the culmination, as they say, of like 14 years, 15 years. And it's now reaching a point where, as we have all said, we want it to be recognised as a legitimate event. For these guys to get recognition for the work they put in. For people, I would love for them to do one of those, hour-long documentaries about what it takes for these guys that you see with all of the League of Legends teams, and when they're in the, we're in the team house right now, and we're about to have like we're about to have a 4-hour gaming practice, and then we've got our masseuse coming in and stuff. Fuck it, watch some guy in his basement having to do 150 islands to cap his neck. Watch him do God knows how many Mythic Plus runs to get that particular bit of gear. To have to open up God knows how many Ben Beckett bloody bits of gear so he gets just the right one that opens up, that also has a fucking prismatic slot that's going to give him that little bit of extra DPS. These guys deserve the credit, but they all deserve the credit. And I salute Method. And Method want to go forward, and they want to be the organisation that creates the world first race. That sadly means they can't be in it as a guild. You're at that point, you have to choose what you want to be. And I respect them whichever direction they go in. But when you are on both sides of the fence, you're not going to win on either. You can't fight for better broadcasting rights and more profits and everything else, which they would have to do. If they were organising it, they would have to say, look guys, you want this, but we can't physically give you that because we only have this much pot of money. And also be on the other side going, fuck you, pay me. Can't do it. And plus, you're in too much of a position whereby, as I said before, anything that goes wrong is cheating. If you win, you're not respected for it. If you lose, everybody's like, oh, you lost your own competition. This scenario reminds me of Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and this is my closing, filter hosing bit. There's a bit where Captain Holt has an organisation for gay officers that he's created. And he's been in charge of it. He's been the president of it for like 20 years. And there was only like him at the very beginning. Now it's got a good membership. A new guy comes along and he's like, I'm sorry, but I'd like to challenge you as president. I respect everything you've done, but I'd like to challenge you for presidency. And first of all, Holt's like, we're going to destroy him. We're going to find everything wrong, any crime he's committed, anything he's ever done, any shady little bit, and we're going to expose it and destroy him. And then eventually he turns around and all this guy wants to do is take it to the next level. He has new ideas, different things. And he realises for the betterment of the organisation, for the betterment of the other people that are part of it, he has to step aside. He has to let go of the reins and let the next stage happen without him. Now, am I saying Redbull being in charge of the world first race is a good thing? I don't know. I honestly don't, and nobody else does. But fear of the next step shouldn't stop you just saying, okay, let's roll with it. Let's see what happens for the good of everybody. If it fails, if the Redbull event fails and it's awful, then it fails. We as the community and as raiders and gamers, it just carries on. There's no problem with that. It's just a little step backwards. We'll still watch the Method stream. We'll still watch the Limit stream, the Pieces stream. We'll still watch those guys stream. Doesn't lose anything. Potentially we gain huge amounts. I say we, those guys benefit a huge amount. All of those guys. It's not an easy decision to make at all, and I understand that. And I don't envy Sko and the Method guys. But maybe to see if the next stage can happen, they've got to let go of the reins. They've got to let go of the power, and they have to become a guild, not an organisation. They have to be the guild that is part of this with other guilds, and not the Method organisation that wants to dictate what happens. Because if they do, then they're no better than the corporations that they claim want ownership of this race. Because at the moment, it looks like ownership of this race is being torn between Method and Redbull, and that's no good for anyone. Thank you everybody for listening. I apologise for the length of this video, but I think the subject warranted it. Thanks everybody.